What's up everyone, I'm Melissa Elise and you're watching Melissa Elise TV. Welcome to my September wrap-up video. I made it through all 4 of the books I plan to read in September and I'm ready to talk about them, so let's get started. The first book I read this month was My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh, and I'm actually not going to talk about this one because it was my September book club pick, which means my full review comes out next Sunday, the first Sunday of every month. I have my book club reviews come out, and I hope you guys will check it out because I do have some things to say about this book. I will give you my ranking though, which was a high 2, maybe 3 out of 5, and I hope that doesn't discourage you guys from watching the review, and it might still be worthwhile for some of you guys to read. My classic read for this month was The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, and I gave this a 5 out of 5, but surprisingly, because it didn't meet my expectations but was better for it. I think it's rare that a story is exactly what the back of the book, the description says it's gonna be, but this actually was, yet the telling of it was so good. The characters are absolutely wonderful. Jake is a fantastic narrator, and I love that Hemingway's style is so simple, yet he says so much. He tells you about the characters and the story without adding anything extra. And Lady Brett Ashley, Bill, Robert Kahn, Mike, they're all unique and they add something specific to the story. But I love Jake and Bill's romance, and then Bill and Mike. Bill is just a wonderful character. He's probably my second after Jake. But Brett is really interesting as well. She's kind of like this rich yet not rich. She's a lady, but she's getting divorced, but she's been married a couple different times, yet she loves Jake and Jake loves her, but they can't be together. So the theme of disillusionment is definitely there as the characters try to figure out what life is supposed to be like and how they can live it to their fullest ability. And there is that sense of romance, but it's not quite the romance that you would expect it to be. But I really recommend this book and really enjoyed reading it. So my next book for the month / my history pick was The History of the Kings of Britain by Geoffrey of Monmouth, and I gave this a 4 out of 5. And the thing that got me most about it was whoever published it or put this version of his work together put in footnotes and commentary, but they just kind of ended up being really snarky comments about this work, and they called out the people that this was written for at the time as being rather foolish for believing that any of this could have ever happened. Most of the footnotes say stuff like, it was well known that that did not happen, or that this is what happened. And they will tell you if a character is real or the dates that this likely happened that he might be talking about, but for the most part it just like says that, I mean, this couldn't have happened at all. This is insane that he would even have written this. But I still enjoyed the Arthur elements and his storyline where he got his start, Merlin's background, and then their connection to Uther Pendragon and Vortigern. So if you like Arthurian legend and you want to know where he got his start, this is definitely a worthwhile read. I did have trouble staying awake, but that can just be a byproduct of history sometimes, especially when most of it is just genealogy. But I would still recommend it and say it was worthwhile to read, and it encouraged me. I want to read more about King Arthur and see how the legend develops from what Geoffrey writes here and his start. I mean, Excalibur's not even in this book. His sword is called Calburn. So I'm interested to read more because of reading this. So I would recommend it, 4 out of 5. Really good book. My final book of the month continued my read through the Vampire Diaries series, was The Hunter's Moonsong, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 as well because in the end it felt like it was rushing and trying to get to the conclusion too quickly when the majority of the book splits it. I think all of the books tend to go chapter by chapter from each character's perspective and what they're doing, and most of this book each character kind of had their own mission or focus, and so then in the end it all came together, but it felt like it was rushed. And Elena, who pretty much always drives me crazy, was extra annoying and frustrating in this one, particularly in how she was treating Stefan and versus Damon, and then acting like she's Miss Innocent and, oh, I never meant to hurt anyone, and then she's a martyr because she hurt somebody, and it's just annoying for me. But I still enjoyed it, and there's a huge setup for the last book and this plot that they leave open in the end where they plan to reintroduce Klaus. So I'm excited to read the last book, and I can't wait to see how this series ends. So those were the 4 books that I read this past September. If you've read any of those, I would definitely love to know what you thought. And if you ever have a suggestion for a book you think I would love or should read and review, let me know in the comment section. And stay tuned next Sunday for my book club review, and later this week for my October TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for more bookish videos.